Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The insurance sector has been affected by the coronavirus pandemic, and there has been a percentage rise in claims and other services due to the uncertainty in the system. Hence, the need to understand how the insurance sector has been faring and how insurance companies can recover from the pandemic. Joining us now to have a comprehensive conversation around this is Ebose Osegha, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Anchor Insurance Company Limited. Good morning, Ebose Osegha, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir.
Well, quickly, we know that every sector has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. But could you please help us understand how the insurance sector in particular has been affected and how insurance companies are trying to cope, to sustain business, to remain in business?
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. The insurance industry is really seriously affected by this pandemic all over the world. We're the worst hit in the sense that every other organization will depend on us for succor. People losing businesses, people losing employment, people losing their business due to lack of production order, we fall back to insurance because insurance is there in case of eventuality. So if what hits the world is 10%, what is hitting insurance companies is 20%. So not just like in our own case, for example, in Anchor, those who are affected by job loss will come to us for succor because we have a policy called loss of employment. And that is the case as our federal insurance industry. So we are the worst hit. But by the grace of God, we all will get out of it because we have a policy called insurance that has helped us to have a backyard, so to say, fall back on.
Thank you. And yet the insurance industry in Nigeria has tried to rally and help with the whole COVID-19 pandemic, as have that industry all over the world. Can you talk about the Nigerian insurance industries and your efforts with giving relief during this time? Yeah,
when you talk about relief, I will talk into two facets of it. The first one was we coming to, like every other industry came together to help the Nigerian society in terms of palliative. We did that, and the insurance industry, if you look at if you listen to the presidential broadcast the president had, first one, insurance company was highly praised because we came out with our own palliative, worth over about 570 million naira to help the society, to the PP, the task force. Then the second one is that on our own, as a company, every individual company, through the NIA, also came out to also see how the help could come from there. Then looking at the industry itself, we have to go back to the drawing book and look at what the future beholds for insurance in terms of policies that were not there, because nobody expected this has ever happened in our time. And as it sits now, there are policies being drawn up to look at some of these things that could happen in the future. And the insurance industry in Nigeria, I tell you, has been coping very well. But the other side of it, the claim has actually increased because a lot of businesses that were born businesses that were interrupted as such. So some of these things now happen. So the insurance industry is actually experiencing a huge claim at this time. And as it's not easy, but we are coping because we have fallback, and this is what insurance, this is time to show the skill that we have. And this is an opportunity for us to sell ourselves to the world, in Nigeria especially, that insurance industry is not just there for the fun of it.
Let's talk about that claims. I mean, this is coming amidst a very, very unthinkable time for the insurance sector. You're battling with a lot of challenges. Number one, there's a talk about recapitalization that has been started and stopped again. And now you have to pay hefty claims. And thirdly, I also want to ask you, how are you coping with people that come to make claims based on COVID? I mean, there were some insurance companies in other parts of the world that said, you know what, we didn't bargain for this, so we can't make, we can't pay claims out to them because COVID is a situation we never envisaged. I mean, how do you see all of this?
First and foremost, I will talk about recapitalization. You are aware that in the last month, the national regulators came out, NICON, to say that they postponed. The capitalization is not going to be, it will not be in two facets of it. The first one is that you must have 5 billion by the end of 31st of December, which other one comes in September, that making 11 billion for non-insurance as a case, depending on what your operation is. Then number two, the huge claim, the world coming to ask for claim at that time is not, death is death. Natural causes, you have a life policy that says once a life is gone, then you have to, a claim will have to come naturally, not because of COVID, but that death by natural causes or whatever causes is this, a good personal accident, health insurance and all that. So the policies are already in place, not because of COVID, but because it is a COVID period, there's more fatality at this time. There is increasing number of deaths at the time. A lot of things are eventualities that we never expected that would come all the same at this time, all happening at the same time. So that has actually put pressure on insurance. Then on the issue of the industry itself, what are they doing to cope with this? There is a reserve in insurance, we call it reserve ratio, that the government has, the insurance industry usually do, and keep reserves. So this is the time, if you look at it, also let me also say this, that it's very important for recapitalization at this time, in the sense that if this capitalization has taken place before this COVID-19, we will not have much of some of these issues. But as it is, I'm very sure, I'm confident to tell you the insurance industry is coping very well with this pandemic, apart from businesses are not coming in the way they are supposed to come in and some of all that. But the effect will not be felt much now. I think next year we'll have much effect. Some of these things that will affect us very greatly.
Well, although I said earlier that, look, every sector is affected, banking, financial system, aviation. But, I mean, insurance is about managing risks, expecting risks. And, one will imagine that insurance companies should just take, what is happening as something that could happen, that could be inevitable. But how resilient is the insurance industry in Nigeria? What are the basic challenges that you face in the industry?
No, before now, the interest of Nigerians towards insurance has not been very good. But I would also tell you that the pandemic has brought some positivity in terms of awareness that, look, those who have insurance in place at this time will actually have succor. But the difference is that, like you said, the rate at which claims are occurring is exponential, because nobody expected this will happen. Not that we are running away from our responsibility as an insurance company. We expected this risk. That's why I told you that we have reinsurance, except for those who do not have some of these things in place, or like the life was hit. I will tell you that a lot of people are dead right now. The life policy is really threatened. Then the government itself, they should come up again to say that. But I will also let you know that some of the government sectors, they don't take these policies of life policies. So people that are dead, some of them will not actually call for claim, but except those who had that policy, especially some multinational companies and other, that we have this, we are affected in the sense that some of the things that are supposed to take place, that put in place by government to see that the insurance company grows, is not there. But for those of us who are run to foreign countries for reinsurance and other, definitely the insurance company, I promise you, will survive.
But how can the insurance industry use this to not just survive, but to actually thrive? Is there a way to sort of create some advocacy to let people understand the link between pandemics and other disasters and the need for insurance as a mechanism for financial security?
Yeah, insurance, as it is, putting you back instead where you were before the loss. This has given a lot of people thoughts that I will promise you. Let me use my company, for example. We had a surge in increase in terms of people asking for loss of employment policy because of this claim, because of what is going on right now, because a lot of people have lost their job. And for every month, we are paying about 150 million, as it was. But now it's about 200 million that we are paying every month as claim to our clients. For those who did not take the policy, I'm telling you positively, we have a lot of clients coming forward now to take insurance policies, and that is, for me, that is positivity. And that has created awareness throughout the country that insurance is actually very important, that it comes to you at the point of your needs. And that is all insurance is all about. Talking about survivor, we survive because, like I said to you, there are stratas of risk bearing in insurance sector. We have the reinsurance, we have retrocessions and all that. So if you look at it, the risks are shared among all insurance companies and all over the world. So that well is a succor for insurance companies as well.
I still want to probe further based on what Tundu started. How can we get Nigerians to really, go for insurance? The penetration rate is I think it's less than 3% now, and it's quite very shocking compared to markets like South Africa that have even close to 10%, or Ghana that has well over 5%. And secondly, would you say it's a big boost what happened recently after the meetings with the National Association of Resident Doctors and the federal government? They decided to go on an insurance policy of close to 9 billion for them. Would you say that was well targeted, sort of like a palliative for the insurance sector? Because, that insurance policy will be done in Nigeria by Nigerian insurance companies.
Like I said many times, part of some of the interview I've had in different press, we need the government of Nigeria needs to have a deliberate plan in terms of legislation to actually push insurance forward. If what was done in BVN banking, that they said, look, if you do not have a BVN number or you don't register for BVN, you cannot operate your banking your bank account. What happened? A lot of people have to do that, and when they didn't do it, the government came forward to say, look, if you do not have this BVN number at this point or so date, there was a time lag on it. If you don't have, there's a lien in your account. What happened? Everybody in this country today have a bank account, has a BVN. The government needs to come back with that plan. That look, before you have to do anything like it's done everywhere in the world, that you need to have insurance policy in place. If that is done, then we are on the right track. That's on one hand. Now, on the other one, we as the regulator themselves, we need to also come back, like what we are doing, the awareness, the enlightenment campaign and all that. We need to do much more. And the Nigerian society, the culture itself does not encourage insurance. But if there are deliberate laws that are deliberately inserted or through the National Assembly, you will find out that insurance becomes compulsory. For even the one that was made compulsory, there's no legislation. Nobody is punished for evading the insurance policy. Even our vehicle third-party insurance, a lot of people do not even have them. So the government has much to do to help insurance company grow. Then the only palliative, raising 9 billion, is that what people that have died before the 9 billion was raised are not going to be paid for. Insurance is when you take a policy, you wait for it to occur. Not that people die before you pay premium. It's no premium, no cover policy. So I think that though it's way forward, but it will be too late for those who have died, who does not have insurance policy at the time.
Well, Ebose Osegha, we'll take a short break now. When we return, the conversation will continue. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Still with us is Ebose Osegha, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Anchor Insurance Company Limited, with whom we've been discussing the insurance sector in the context of COVID-19. Now, Ebose, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Well, quickly, let me ask you, you've been talking about claims and the exponential rise in the number of claims from policyholders. How about premium? I know insurance people talk about no premium, no cover. How is market on that front, particularly in the light of Section 50, so Section 1 of the Insurance Act, about whether premium can be waived or not waived?
Premium, I don't understand the context of you saying premium waive. If I understand what you are saying is that if a premium was not paid, you cannot come forward for claim. That is the rule. The rule is that you must pay premium first before claims.
Yeah, but we've been talking about palliatives. The policyholders, many policyholders faced a lot of hardship during this time of COVID-19. Did insurance companies in Nigeria try to meet them halfway if they cannot pay premium, and then try to understand, and waive the payment until such a time when they will be able to do so again? What's the situation?
Yeah, the situation is that some of our policyholders who have been very sincere policyholders, when I mean sincere, those who have been paying their premium regularly, there is a way of discount that is going out, particularly from our company to some of those our policyholders. That is very important. But the way insurance works is that if your asset is worth 1 billion, for example, and it's a fire policy, and you have about 0.25% as premium. So that's already a palliative on its own, if you ask me. So coming back to reduce that further, then when you do not pay that premium before time. So although we also have, before now, there is what we call ex-gratia. If there is a claim, and maybe a client has been doing well, that out of negligence or whatever, didn't have time to come up to pay his premium as at when you maybe last about 2 or 3 or 5 days. We can come out with ex-gratia to say, look, this client has been very nice to us, so we don't have to blame him. It's a human being, and some of these things could happen. We do that. But palliative in terms of forgiving you premium, not to pay your premium, then pay you claim, I don't think that will be entertained. But what it comes, our palliative will always come in terms of discounts, and that is what I think it can be done at this time.
Thanks for that. Taking you back to the government's efforts, what is your assessment, if at all you had the chance to make one before the COVID pandemic struck, of the Finance Act 2020? At the time when that law was passed, it was hailed as being helpful and supportive of the insurance industry because you get to now carry your losses forward indefinitely beyond a 4-year window, and, some other outdated tax provisions were removed. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, kudos to government on terms of that tax issues. We all hail it. That is something that we've been waiting for, because if you are an insurance company and your premium, you still have to pay tax on the gross premium end, because part of the premium end and some of the things that are coming to us is not properly is for our own growth operation. Then taxing those premium policies are gross when it is not our earning. Is something that has not been justified in the past. But thank God this government came and they looked at that and they have to take that away. That we all hail in the industry. That does not to say that the government has done everything 100%. If the policy that are put in place are not deliberately legislated and there is not compulsory insurance pursuits by the government and agencies, it will not help. It's just like you going out, you are a broadcaster. You do not have a certificate from or not regulated by APAN, as the case may be. These are some of the things that we're talking about. The government need to come out deliberately, because insurance, like I said when I attended the governor's forum, I said, look, you cannot, as a state governor, have a budget refinancing or budgetary for a property that government has insured, the property the government has built, or with God bonds, for example, and you are coming back to spend more money and making more budget to repair that property. It's not right. The insurance company, if these properties were insured by insurance company, once it is bought, all you need to do is to bring your claim forward. The insurance company will go there and put the house back instead of it. That will also help government in a way. Not every time we have markets, government institutions getting bond, and the following year they are making budgetary allocation. That is not right.
Right. I want to talk about our job. As journalists, we constantly put our lives on the line. I'm sure in the midst of all this COVID-19, a lot of journalists might have come down with COVID-19 by just even going to briefings and the likes. There's a need for life policy. I mean, what are you talking to your regulators, about? Is it going to be the regulators insisting that the media companies should have a life policy, or you talk to the media companies directly? But there is a need for a life policy for journalists and broadcasters.
I know there are different organizations of the Journalists Association of Nigeria, NUJ. I know they have a life policy. I am not. My company does not underwrite policies. I know they have a life policy with some other insurance company. It's not a government plan. It's not insurance plan for you to. We can only create that awareness that you need to have a policy. It is left for the industry, like Arise, for example, to come to us and say, look, we need to cover our. It's supposed to be like an addition to the welfare of your staff, for the insurance for them, because the government has said that once you have an organization that has about up to 10 persons, or 5 and above, sorry, you need to have a life and a group life policy. So I'm not many organizations that are journalists or whatever, they have such policies in place. But I know a lot, some of them do. Recently, before the COVID-19, we had a meeting with some people, in some agencies of journalists in Kaduna, that they wanted to have a policy for the Northern Journalists Association. Because of the COVID pandemic, we've not been able to effect that. So I think at this juncture, I have to encourage all organizations, even Arise, to come forward and take some of these policies. And it's a welfare. It's welfare for their staff and their organization. It's very important.
Well, Ebose, I mean, we've been talking about the pandemic and the crisis associated thereto. But people have also been talking about the crisis in relation to innovation and change. What kind of innovation, particularly with regard to insurance products or a rethinking of paradigms, are we likely to see in the insurance sector? At this point, the space of ICT will not be ruled out. Technology is all the way right now. Because in terms of our post and pre-law survey, you cannot physically now go to some places to come and look at things that are happening, even inspection, to say, oh, I have to ascertain this, but the technology has to come in place. Like I said, drove could be very expensive. Visual is also now something that's in place. Before now, we do our meetings, we used to have meetings with our clients, physical, whatever. Now you cannot even travel, you cannot go anywhere. Most of these things are done by virtual. So the technology, there will be improvement in the area of technology to take in our claim processes, in our pre-law survey, in our claims processes, and all that has to come in place. Technology is all the way. And it's called InsurTech. It's been developing such a program, and a lot of flyers has been coming up to us in terms of trying to see how some of these things are workable. And within our own organization, we're also trying to develop apps that will also help as regard to this evolving issues that we all have all around the world.
Do we have?
Do we still have enough time?
All right. Let me
just thank him.
Let me just quickly just say this as we wrap up. Oh, 10 seconds. We just have to say a very big thank you to you, Austin and Ebose, for coming here and talking to us.
Yeah. Thank you very much.